If the agreement does come through, the major competitor remains the Swedish JAS 39 Gripen E fighter. Then India would become the exclusive producer of an advanced new Block 70 variant of the iconic fighter jet, and might also export the type to countries such as Bahrain, Colombia and Indonesia. Entering service in 1978, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, now popularly known as the Viper, is a lightweight, short-range multi-role fighter renowned for its agility. More than 3,000 of the type will serve in the air forces of 27 countries this year. The Viper has seen plenty of action over the decades, and is credited with shooting down 76 aircraft in air-to-air combat in exchange for 1 or 2 losses by one count. While there are larger twin-engine fighter jets like the F-15 Eagle that can go faster and farther and carry heavier combat loads, the Viper is more maneuverable and can still perform the majority of combat missions just as well at a lower price. For example, by one accounting an F-16 costs $22,000 per flight hour, compared to $42,000 for the F-15. India previously turned down the F-16 for its medium fighter competition in favor of a small order for 36 French Rafale fighters. Let's take a look at why the new proposed joint venture could mark a dramatic turnabout for the world's second most populous nation. India has a large fleet of aging and accident-prone MiG-21 and MiG-27 jet fighters that will soon be leaving service. New domestically built Tejas light fighters have consistently disappointed with their subpar performance, and India is not considering them as a full replacement for its MiG-JAS. Until the Rafale order, India's fighters have come from Russia or the Soviet Union, and prior to that from the United Kingdom. These were supplemented by 2 domestically built jets, the Merit and Tejas. The United States was not a supplier to India during the Cold War, choosing instead to furnish advanced fighters such as the F-104 Starfighter to India's arch-rival, Pakistan. Relations between New Delhi and Washington have now gone from the frigid lows of the Cold War, Nixon once menaced India with a carrier task force, to warm, following US mediation of the Kargil conflict and the striking of a civilian nuclear cooperation agreement. Today the Indian military operates U.S. made P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol planes as well as C-17 Globemaster and C-130 Jules Hercules transports. In fact, Tata and Lockheed are already jointly producing spare parts for the Hercules. In fact, this drift in US foreign policy follows the logic of the United States confrontation with China. China and India have perceived one another as a strategic threat since a border war in 1962, and Beijing has developed a close alliance with Pakistan as means of encircling India. Conversely, Washington now sees partnership with India as a means of hedging against China's military dominance in Asia. Remember that part about the United States supplying tons of arms to Pakistan? Pakistan received its first F-16A and B Fighting Falcons in 1983, followed by an additional F-16Cs and Ds, bringing the current total to 76. These F-16s constitute Pakistan's top air superiority fighter. Furthermore, the F-16 would likely serve as one of Pakistan's top nuclear strike platforms in the event of a full-scale war with India. The Pakistani F-16s scored a number of kills against Soviet fighters over Afghanistan during the 80s, but haven't met Indian fighters in battle, though they reportedly did face off against Indian MiG-29s during their 1999 Kargil conflict. However, the fighter pilots on both sides were not authorized to fire on each other, to avoid escalating the scope of that conflict. At any rate, if India starts flying F-16s as well, even if they are of a different model, this will pose some obvious risks of misidentification for both sides. Politically, there are both advantages and disadvantages to striking a deal with a global power such as the United States. The arrangement could strengthen India-US defense ties, but New Delhi might fear it could be subject to shifting political winds due to the relationship with Pakistan. Regardless, The fact that India is seriously considering becoming the sole assembler of the F-16 going forward, an airplane type that will remain in service in the United States and across the world for many more years, is a good indicator as to the current drift of US foreign policy in Asia.